Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lived a young prince named Alexander. He was known throughout the land for his bravery and cunning, but also for his arrogance and hot temper. One day, Alexander received a message from a mysterious sorceress named Morgana, inviting him to visit her in her castle on the edge of the kingdom. Despite warnings from his advisors and the kingdom's wise men, Alexander was intrigued and set out to visit the sorceress. Upon arrival at Morgana's castle, Alexander was greeted by the sorceress herself, who appeared to be stunningly beautiful, yet with a cold and piercing gaze. She showed him around her castle, pointing out the various magical artifacts and enchanted creatures she kept as pets. As the night grew late, Morgana offered to perform a spell for Alexander, a spell that would grant him unlimited power and wealth. Alexander, tempted by the sorceress's offer, agreed to perform the spell. However, little did he know, the spell would come at a great cost. The spell would only work if he were to sacrifice his kingdom and all of its inhabitants. Alexander, consumed by his thirst for power, agreed to the sacrifice without hesitation. As the spell was being performed, Alexander began to feel a strange, dark power coursing through his veins. But at the same moment, he was overcome by a wave of regret and guilt. He realized that he had made a grave mistake and that he was now bound to serve the sorceress for all eternity. Years passed and Alexander became known as the Dark Prince, a cruel and ruthless ruler who showed no mercy to those who opposed him. The once peaceful and prosperous kingdom was now in ruin, with the people living in fear of their ruler's wrath. One day, a young woman named Isabella appeared before Alexander, claiming to have a way to break the spell and restore the prince to his former self. Alexander, desperate to break free from the sorceress's control, agreed to help Isabella on her quest. Together, they journeyed through treacherous landscapes and faced many dangers, but with each passing day, Alexander's memories of his former life began to return. Finally, they reached the sorceress's castle, where they engaged in a fierce battle with Morgana and her minions. In the end, Isabella was able to defeat the sorceress and break the spell, freeing Alexander from her control. The kingdom was restored to its former glory and Alexander, now known once again as the prince, ruled with wisdom and compassion. Years passed and Alexander and Isabella were wed, their love and bravery becoming the stuff of legend. And although the kingdom faced many challenges, they stood strong and always remembered the lesson that power and wealth should never come at the cost of one's soul. And so, the tale of the Dark Prince and the young woman who saved him from an eternity of darkness lives on, reminding all of the dangers of greed and the power of love and sacrifice.